covering all your local high school football games with highlights and scores. Now, Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Harris. You know, you wait all summer. Well, you really wait through the spring, the summer, and then football season's never going to get here. Then it gets here, and in the blink of an eye, it's over. We wrapped up the regular season last week, and now we're in the playoffs. Welcome into Week 11 of the high school football season and Week 12 of WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Alabama Credit Union loans for real life. Football Friday, of course, is an hour, and we've got highlights tonight, I think, from 15, maybe even 16 high school football playoff games, first-round games for you this evening, plus our complete Football Friday high school scoreboard presented by Beulah Baptist Church, our Football Friday Band of the Week, our Premier Service Company award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, recruiting tales around the SEC, behind enemy lines, and more. And we begin with our Watley Health Services Game of the Week.
Now, the Game of the Week, brought to you by Watley Health Services.
All right, here we go. We've got Class 4A ACA hosting Tallassee. Second play of the game, quarterback Trent Morris, who's really good for Tallassee, rolls out, and he's gonna take a lick right here. Oh, no. Collarbone, man. Those things are so painful. I've never had one, but I know some guys that have. And he would not be able to come back in. Freshman Hamp Love had to come in. That was a bad break for the Tigers. Tallassee looking to make something on the drive, but Love gets past the first down markers, but fumbles as he goes down, and it's scooped up by Wilderette. And ACA, that defense, ACA wearing the all-red tonight, sets up the offense, but they couldn't get anything going until the second quarter after a muff putt. Drew Jackson, the third, the outstanding quarterback, takes it in from about 10 yards out to give the Patriots a lead, 7-0. Third quarter, still 7-0, but Tallassee's Jaden Gordon, he gone. Turning on the Jets. We got a 7-7 game. Remember now, Tallassee's a 4 seed and ACA is a 1 seed, but this was a competitive game. Patriots head coach Austin Grammer concerned, but the Pats would answer. Jackson, who is going to be, he's already good, but he's got another year. He finds Davin Thornton. He gets by a defender, and he is gone. Got a couple years left, does Jackson. He takes the ball in, does Thornton. That gives ACA a 14-7 lead. The defense would answer the bell from there, and this would wind up being an ACA win. It was not easy, but the Patriots get it done tonight. 20-7 over Jerry Logan at their field there in Tuscaloosa, and 20-7 is that final score. All right, Class 2A, Tuscaloosa Academy hosting Susan Moore. The Stillman College Band on hand to play at halftime. Made a guest appearance, and they rocked it. It's tonight's ball. First possession of the game, Martin Norris, another outstanding quarterback, connects with wide receiver Hinton Hale for a 10-yard pass. TA on the board first, 7-0. Second quarter, the Bulldogs, Samuel Garrison keeps it, but he loses it, and TA recovers it. Brian McAdory comes up with it. Susan Moore gets the ball back, and Garrison, a quick throw to Matthew Atkins, and that's a 31-yard touchdown pass. 2-point conversion, Garrison keeps and runs it up the middle, and suddenly Susan Moore is within 6 at 14-8. Later in the quarter, TA ball, Norris is going to launch. That's a missile downfield. John Michael Little is there. See you later. 77 yards, and the fireworks are going off, and the Knights go up 21-8. Near the end of the quarter, TA on the 1, and Norris is going to find Bo Cochran. Well, not on the 1 there, but they're in the end zone, I can tell you that. 28-8, and TA goes on to get the victory tonight. They advance 35-14. They'll be home again next Friday to host Pleasant Valley. Big win for the Knights here in Tuscaloosa tonight. 3A, Gordo at home tonight, hosting Walter Wellborn out of Anniston. And the Green Wave at home, they're hard to handle. McCain Robertson with the keeper off the snap to the quarterback, 9 yards, 21-0, Gordo already on top. Then Robertson, play action, looking for his man, but he can't find him, so he uses his legs again. That's a gain of 18. Then Noah McDaniel will crash across from 5 yards out. The big man puts it over the goal line, 28-0. And when they get it back, they do some more damage. A.J. Latham, 34 yards, house call. Gordo dominates Walter Wellborn tonight. They advance to the second round. 49-0 is that final from up there in Pickens County tonight. The Green Wave just absolutely wipe out Walter Wellborn. First round of the Class 5A playoffs, Demopolis hosting Elmore County. This would be one of the games of the night right here. Demopolis had a chance to score at the end of the first quarter, but Tate McNeely is going to come up with the pick. And not only does he get the interception, he takes it back. It's not a pick six, but he does bring it back all the way inside the Demopolis 10. Boy, that's tough for the Tigers there. You think you're about to score, and instead you give up the interception. And then Eli Timms is going to walk it in. And suddenly, just like that, it's Elmore County going up. Demopolis fumbled their next possession, but they would get the ball back. There's the fumble right there. Having some trouble with mistakes. Turnovers are killers. But when they got it back, Kobe Monroe would get the fumble recovery, but then J.W. McAlpine breaking tackles for a touchdown. Elmore County, though, goes over the top. Colton Tucker finds his man. I'm a little bit lost here. I won't kid you, but I'll see Elmore County here with the touchdown, tying it up at 14 apiece. This one would go into double overtime. Demopolis would go for two to win it and come up short, and Elmore County gets the win tonight. Heartbreak for the Tigers. 21-20 is that final score from down in Demop tonight. Well, still to come on Football Friday, our Abby Award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, as well as your game day forecast with Chief Meteorologist for WVUA 23, Richard Scott. But first, more highlights from Week 1 of the state playoffs, including 10-0 Hubbertville hosting Woodland in Class 1A. The Lions are a powerful football team. WVUA 23's Football Friday will continue right after this timeout.
WVUA 23. Go Tigers!
The West Blockton cheerleaders bring us back into this playoff edition of Football Friday on WVUA 23. I'm Gary Harris. Let's get right back to the playoff action. Class 1A. Berry, the Wildcats hosting Fayetteville tonight. We were there. Wildcats start off with Lake Norris. I like that right there. Big man running with some authority, 26-yard gain, first down in the red zone. Wildcats on 4th and 5, and they go for it. Quarterback Jaden Smith is going to loft it up for Max Westbrook. I mean, he lofts it up. But you know what? It's a beautiful throw, but Max Westbrook can't hang on in the end zone. It goes over on downs. But that's what it looked like. It was actually called a completion, a touchdown. And the head coach for Fayetteville was losing his mind. But that's 7 on the board. And here comes the Wolves answering, though. 27 yards out. Quarterback Presley Duke uses his legs, gets it into the end zone. Now let's check out the final from up at Berry tonight. And it is Berry, 44-37. I had to watch that myself to say, they said he came down with his feet, established possession. It was a touchdown. And that turned out to be a big play because Berry wins by 7 tonight over Fayetteville. The Wildcats advance to the second round in 1A, 44-37. Another 1A game, Woodland at 10-0 Hubbertville. Harris Field tonight. I tell you, that community of Hubbertville, they've turned out some great football teams. They got another one this year. Woodland Bobcats backed up and shadowed their own goal line. Quarterback Nate Herron under duress. And he's picked off by Braylon Hill, who just walks it into the end zone. He didn't have to go far. Woodland trying to get something going here and delivers a perfect ball to Ty Burge. And suddenly, the Bobcats are inside the 10 of the Lions. Look at Burge fighting for all that yardage. And then Herron hands it off to Asa Berger. He gets the edge here. But still, they were down, was Woodland 24. The Bobcats were down 24-7, and the Lions get it back, and they know what to do with it. Gavin Hubbard is just going to lash through the center of the defense. 23-yard gain, and then Hubbard gets the handoff again, and this time he's going to find the end zone for the Lions touchdown. And Hubbertville, they've done this all year. They rack up a lot of points. 67 of them tonight. As we check out the final, they beat Woodland 67-27. They win by 40, and they advance into the second round with that win tonight. Class 3A, Hale County traveled down to Lee Scott Academy. And there's the coin toss, and here comes Hale County. 3 plays in. Marcus Bryan Jr. drops back looking deep, but he's going to be picked off by Lee Scott's Wyatt Watley, who rips it out of the hands of the receiver. Hale County gets it back. But here we go again. Pressure, and Bryant gets stripped and fumbles, and that leads to this touchdown by Brooks Zachary from 3 yards out. He punches it in. That makes it 7-0, and Lee Scott goes on to get the win tonight over Hale County. 42-14 was that final down in Southeast Alabama tonight. AISA AAA action, Bessemer Academy at Southern Academy, or so we thought. We sent our crew down there tonight. JD and Garrett were on hand, and this is what they ran into. It was all quiet at Lawson Field in Greensboro tonight. There was a game scheduled, but Bessemer Academy called and forfeited the game due to not having enough players to go. That means Southern Academy, hey, you take a win any way you can get it. I know they would have rather have played the game, but they win it officially 1-0. They will advance to the AISA semifinals, and we'll take on the winner of Chambers Academy and Fort Dale Academy. So Southern Academy advances without playing. Tough luck for Bessemer Academy, and I know Southern Academy would have rather have played, but the Cougs get the victory. So they continue on in AISA AAA action. Back to AHSAA action. Class 6A Helena at Bessemer City. Opening drive, first play, Bessemer quarterbacks Brandon Gooden Jr. passes to Chase Walker, but he fumbles. Helena recovers. Helena quarterback Nate Ferguson going to pull it down and pick up a nice gain. Later, running back Dom Santiago is going to get the edge, and he is going to battle his way down. And that is going to lead to a touchdown for the visitors. This was a competitive game. We figured it would be. Here's an attempted field goal by Helena, but it is blocked, and the Purple Tigers going back the other way. Devontae Burnett is going to score the touchdown. Boy, that gave Bessemer City a spark. Special teams can turn a game around in a heartbeat. Later in the first half, Bessemer running back Lemarian Gooden picks up a first down. Bessemer attempts a field goal right after this play. Great run right there. And the field goal, I think we have it, is coming up right here, tied at 7. Yeah, here's the field goal attempt by Zayden Martinez, and he drills it. So Bessemer City took a 10-7 lead at the half. And as we check out the final, Bessemer City gets the win. Purple Tigers advance in Class 6A, beating the Helena Huskies tonight, 24-7. Later on in our big show, we're going to have our Abby Award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, plus Rodney Orr's recruiting tales, and we'll take a trip around the SEC. But up next, much more high school football playoff action, including the defending Class 7A state champion Thompson Warriors opening up at home against Carver Montgomery. We'll have it for you when we return to Football Friday.
We're Demopolis High School cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23.
The Thompson Warriors have 3 losses this season, but make no mistake, I think most people consider Thompson still the favorite to win it all in Class 7A. Hosting Carver Montgomery tonight, and the 2 head coaches talking it over before the game. First quarter, Thompson quarterback Trent Seaborn, the Alabama commit, hands off to KJ Jackson. KJ Jackson coming right past Stu McCann's camera down the right sideline for 49 yards, first down Warriors. Next play, Seaborn finds Dedrick Kimbrough, who is an excellent wide receiver. Look at him work the back of the end zone right there. 8-yard touchdown, Thompson goes up 7-zip. Still in the first, it's Seaborn again. This is how you become an Alabama commit. Not only can you throw it, but you got good people to hand it off to. It's KJ Jackson again, 17-yard touchdown. Thompson leads at 14-0. Carver, though, is a quality team. Second quarter, their quarterback, Kamani Clary, drops back and launches it. But Junior James is a guy to watch. Watch on this play with the pick, but also for college recruiters. Long and athletic. He gets the interception and brings it back. But Carver would not go away. They kept fighting. Clary, though, this time, he eats it, and he is taken down by a swarm of Warrior defenders. And Thompson was in control in this one, and they go on to get the victory tonight by the final score of 31-7. Thompson advances as we expected tonight, but they'll be tougher competition. Carver's not a bad team, but they couldn't hold up tonight against the Warriors over in Alabaster. Class 6A, Spain Park and McAdory getting together over in Hoover. The Jackets and the Jags battling for a spot in round 2. Quick and easy 3 and out, but a penalty on Spain Park extends the Jackets' drive, and Kawan Johnson makes him pay. He busted 61-yard touchdown, and McAdory then gets on top of this muffed kick at the Spain Park 41. Tough start for the Jags, and then Justin Patton's 6-yard scramble is the score. The Jags did block the extra point, but still, the Yellow Jackets are up 13-0. I'd have to consider this an upset if it holds up. But here come the Jags. Second quarter, Brock Bradley. He's got a nice arm. Look at him spin it. And he's got a man on the other end. Rago, the former TA receiver, with the grab. And the Jags offense is on the move, and Bradley is going to get it in to make it a one-score game, and that was just the start. Spain Park comes from behind to win it as we check out the final tonight. Down early, 13-0, but they scored 24 unanswered, do the Jags, to get past McAdory. Two good teams in Class 6A, but it is Spain Park advancing to the second round. Class 6A, Pell City at Homewood. The Patriots band. And here goes Pell City's Colston McCombs. He just trucks a defender for Homewood. Get out of my way. He's in the end zone. 7-0 Pell City. Homewood's David Walden then with the catch and the cut up field. That would lead to a touchdown to make it 7-7. Then it's Caleb Carson on the keeper for a Homewood touchdown. It's 14-7 now, Patriots on top. Later, Carson uses his arm as he finds Toman Felton down the sideline. Setting up Carson again to Felton again. This time it's for the touchdown. Nice strike, nice catch. 21-7 Homewood in the second quarter. And the Patriots go on to win it tonight over the Pell City Panthers. 28-14 is that final. Class 7A, Hewitt-Trussville hosting Opelika. The Huskies at home, but the Opelika Bulldogs didn't concern themselves with that. Although early on, it's the Huskies on 3rd and 18, and Zach Benedict to Dylan Cope. How about that? 86-yard bomb. Huskies go up 7-3 as they get the first touchdown. And on the ensuing kickoff, Mason Renda will channel his inner Reuben Foster. What a hit. Looking like the former Bama linebacker. Just over 2 minutes to play in the half. And the Huskies get something going with the ball over the top there. And then with just over a minute left, it's Benedict punching it across. Touchdown for the Huskies. They led 14-6 at the half and looked like they were going to go on to a victory. Not so fast, my friends. That is Opelika. The Bulldogs come into Trussville tonight, and they pull off the upset, 27-21, to advance into the second round. Hewitt's season comes to an end. Hoover traveled down to Central-Phenix City. They knew it would not be easy, but Hoover came to play in this one. Bucks up 3-0 early in the second, but the Red Devils connecting here on a 45-yard touchdown. 7-3, Central-Phenix City goes up. But here comes Hoover responding. Caleb Freeman to Anderson Clark. That put the Bucks up 10-7. It was 10-10 at the half. Let's go ahead and check out our final tonight from down there in Phenix City. And Central gets the win. Hoover did not score in the second half. They get outscored 24-zip. Central-Phenix City, who won it 2 years ago and played Thompson for the championship last year, advances. Hoover's season comes to an end, 34-10, the final. More 7A, Vestavia at Auburn. This was a crazy game down in Lee County tonight. Vestavia up 14-0 early, though, and getting more. The touchdown there by Carson Purdy makes it 21-0 in the first quarter. You thinking blowout? No way. Auburn coming back. Hasten Myers on the keeper, punches it in to make it 21-7. And then right after the score, Charlie Taft is pressured. Pass is batted up, and the big man is rolling. Colin King gets the big man TD off the pick, and I mean, he is big. That really changed momentum. And then Carnell Jackson gets it into the end zone to make it 21-14, and then Auburn ties it up and gets it 21-21 at the half. And in the second half, they win a shootout. Does Auburn tonight at home over Vestavia, 52-41. We get 93 points. Vestavia up 21-0, but couldn't get the job done. Couldn't finish. You hear coaches talk about that, and Auburn advances. All right, on Thursday night, we had the 10-0 Northside Rams at home in Class 5A, hosting Beauregard. Here comes Northside quarterback Jackson Rhodes, who's had a phenomenal year, to Jeremiah Case. Beautiful throw and catch. I mean, this team can sling it. You know, for so many years, Northside was known as a running team, but they can throw it. 49-yard touchdown, 7-0 Rams. Next possession, but like I said, they can run it too. Bennett Green. Oh, the way he's padded up there. Serious football player. 14-0 Northside on top. Second quarter, Rhodes scrambles, buys time, points to his receiver, and Austin Keitlinger is gone. 49-yard touchdown. Boy, that is a veteran move by the quarterback and receiver. You can tell they've done that a lot together. 21-zip. And before the end of the half, Rhodes is going to connect with Case again for another touchdown. This one from 41 yards out. Man, what a passing display in the first half. 35-0 Northside, and the Rams go on to roll 48-14 into the second round, and they are 11-0 on the season. All right, that's going to do it for our high school football playoff highlights, but we still have a lot more to do here on Football Friday, including a trip around the Southeastern Conference, as well as a look behind enemy lines at LSU. But up next, if you're wondering how your favorite high school team did tonight in the first round of the playoffs, well, you won't have to wonder much longer, because we're coming back with the Beulah Baptist Church Football Friday scoreboard when we return here on WVUA 23. Holt High School, our final band of the week for 2025 on Football Friday. They did a great job with the Jackson 5 right there. What a way to go out for our bands of the week for 2025. Let's go out with our final full scoreboard presented by Beulah Baptist Church. Benjamin Russell tonight at home in Alex City. Central game of game. The Falcons, you know, Cedarian Morgan, probably one of the best players in the country, the best wide receiver in the state, committed to Alabama, is on that Benjamin Russell squad. But the Falcons went down there with the intentions of winning that game, and they battled all the way. They come up a little bit short, 26-14. Tough wait for Central, winding up as the 4 seed in 6A Region 4, having to travel to Ben Russell. But good season for DeMario Pippin. That program's headed in the right direction. Sipsey Valley tonight over at Central Clay County. And listen, Central Clay County, if you follow high school football in this state, you know what a powerhouse they are. That's, you know, the high school when Ashland and Lineville combined years ago. And they beat a lot of people, and they beat Sipsey Valley tonight 54-7. Other scores, Hanley, another powerhouse, took care of Bibb County tonight 40-7. Alexandria, the same. Some of these teams in East Alabama now, they're good. They beat Fayette County tonight 47-20 over there in Calhoun County. It was Linden at home over Billingsley 20-11. University Charters had a great year. They beat Nottasulga tonight down in Livingston 54-14 the final. Other playoff scores tonight, Gadsden City and Jasper. What a ball game. Jasper comes up short tonight on the road over in Gadsden, 40-37 the final. Hueytown held off Pelham Pell lost a lot of one-score games this year, and they do it in the first round of the 6A playoffs tonight to Hueytown, 35-28. It was Briarwood over Leeds, 28-3, and Moody took care of Corner, 49-21. Jacksonville wins at Ramsey over at Legion Field. To me, that's an upset. Ramsey playing in Birmingham, losing to the Jacksonville Golden Eagles. Big win for Jacksonville, 14-7. Coosa Christian over Isabella, 56-14 the final. It was Wadley taking care of South Lamar. These are Thursday night scores, 56-6. Also on Thursday night, Sulligent traveled to Southeastern and came up short, 26-8. On Thursday night, Winfield at home, though, shuts out Glencoe, and Hamilton beats Asheville on Thursday night, 35-28. It was Good Hope with a 2-point win over Cherokee County, 28-26. And Parker last night in Birmingham, the Thundering Herd beat the Oxford Yellow Jackets, coached by former Hillcrest head coach Sam Adams, 42-21 the final. Mountain Brook beat Mortimer Jordan, 38-0. And it was Clay Chalkville last night over Jackson Olin. The Cougs, the favorite to win in Class 6A, took care of Jackson Olin. Of course, Sarah may have something to say about that. 49-26 is the final. That's the complete Football Friday scoreboard, but we aren't done with high school football, because when we come back, Bama Central's Joe Gaither is going to join me to break down our game of the week tonight between American Christian Academy and Tallassee. That's straight ahead on WVUA 23's Football Friday.
We are the Holy Spirit cheerleaders, and we love Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Saints!
All right, after a hiatus, Bama Central's Joe Gaither is back tonight for the final edition of Football Friday. Our high school analyst, of course, attended the game of the week over at Danny Logan Field tonight at ACA in Class 4A. American Christian, the #1 seed out of their region, played the 4-seed Tallassee and got the win 27, Joe, but it was by no means an easy victory. A couple of big fourth down stops really is what allowed ACA to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You had Tallassee on the goal line with about 3 minutes or so left to go, and they got a fourth down stop on the goal line to kind of ice the game. Tallassee lost their quarterback on the second drive of the game, and it was kind of a defensive battle in the first half. Tallassee missed two 40-yard field goals, 40 and 49-yard, but it was ACA taking advantage of a muff punt and able to convert on 3rd and 16 to a 4th and 1. They got a 4th and 1 conversion, and Drew Jackson opened the scoring with a 6-yard touchdown. So really, they went in the locker room 7-0. Tallassee came right back out, 76-yard touchdown run from Jaden Gordon to tie it. But from there on, it was all ACA's offense. Jackson was found Devin Thornton on a 65-yard touchdown pass, hit him in the flat, and Thornton went all the way down the sidelines. And then he really iced it with a 6-yard touchdown pass on 4th down to Jalen Coker.
Yeah, Drew Jackson's only a sophomore, but we like to say this in sports. He's wise beyond his years. He's really a calm, cool, collected quarterback. And, you know, he's one of those guys that when you got a signal caller like that, you got a chance to beat anybody, I think, in 4A.
Yeah, absolutely. He was in control. They had a really kind of a hard time on the line of scrimmage tonight, but was able to make enough plays and get it done and get them in the second round.
Yeah, and Austin Grammer, his first year's head coach, he's been there. He played there. He's been a coach there. But this is a young team. And they started slow to win that region and now advance to the second round. What a job coaching by him.
Absolutely. And they were, again, like I said, in control. And really, as the game was kind of starting off slowly, the vibe on the sideline was, that's all right. We got everything under control. We're still in this. The defense is rolling. So I thought that they had a pretty mature showing for being so young.
So AC advances. As we come back off the video for just a moment, we want to touch on the game last night, too, up at Northside, because that was the team in 5A that was undefeated and beat ACA pretty handily in the final week of the regular season. Last night, Beauregard came in, and Northside did what they've been doing all year. They won in blowout fashion. This is an impressive football team. I know traditionally we think about Northside, running the football, and they can run it, but boy, they can sling it too.
Yeah, Jackson Rhodes, 9 of 13, 266, and 5 touchdowns.
Wow.
3 of them going to J.J. Chase, 1 to Austin Keitlinger, and 1 to Evan Taylor. He was in total command. They did run the ball. You had Bennett Green with 2 rushing touchdowns, but it was the Jackson Road show up there on up 43.
Who's Northside got next week?
They've got Viger at home, so big matchup.
Northside's really good, but Viger has ended a lot of teams' dreams of winning a state championship. But it is at Northside, right?
It is at Northside. Viger's got the Alabama commit Javarius Garrett as well.
You don't want to go to Viger. I'm just going to tell you. What about ACA? Who do they have?
ACA is playing W.S. Neal next week.
Okay.
I wasn't able to find out if it's home or away yet.
Okay, but both these teams advance from right here in Tuscaloosa and Tuscaloosa County. Thank you, Joe. It's been a great year, man. We appreciate
Thanks so much,
you.
Gary.
All right, when we come back, we are going to have our Abby Award-winning Outside the Huddle feature. This is Football Friday.
We are the Bibb County High School cheerleaders, and we love Football Friday. On WVUA 23, go Tog Tog!
Welcome back to Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. In tonight's Outside the Huddle feature, presented by Premier Service Company, Alex Booth takes a look at one of our favorite organizations, Letterman of the USA, and the role the organization is playing in CTE research.
Too many times have former veterans and athletes felt abandoned after their time of service has expired. That's where Darryl Furman and his organization, Letterman of the USA, have stepped in to make a change in the state of Alabama, and his next partnership plans to make an impact internationally, especially when it comes to CTE research.
I think it was personal for me. I mean, I lost a teammate to it already. I know several other teammates that have been to Boston to be checked, see how many concussions they have, and these are guys I played with in the 80s.
Furman, the CEO of Letterman of the USA, began brainstorming with doctors from the Concussion Legacy Foundation. Furman was inspired by the research being done on brain health at the Boston University CTE Center.
They showed me the correlations between not only veteran suicide but athletic suicide, and they showed me the stage within what was called CTE that you don't know until, of course, after you've passed and you send your brain to Boston and they dissect it.
While public discourse is at an all-time high when it comes to brain health and contact sports, there's still a lot of unknowns. Alabama PhD student Taya McAdory is helping conduct an active study on the impact of hits to the head that a football player receives. McAdory says that researchers are racing against one another to try and find a way to diagnose CTE while the patient is alive.
The biggest trend is to try and find a definitive way to diagnose it pre-death, essentially. So right now, CTE can only be diagnosed post-mortem.
For Letterman of the USA, it was an easy decision to support the work being done at the Concussion Legacy Foundation, especially when Furman found out that they were just one biomarker away from being able to make CTE diagnosis on a living patient. Biomarkers are typically used in medical research in order to have a measurable biological indicator to track the status of health.
You would have to isolate it and then test it and then confirm it, and then probably take it to a committee for a consensus. So there are steps before we get there.
For Furman, the timing of his decision to get involved with concussion research was never up to just himself.
I don't think anything is in your time, it's always in God's time, and I think it was just the right moment in time.
While the significant developments in concussion research has allowed scientists to feel like a possible finish line is in sight when it comes to CTE diagnosis on living patients, that may not be the most mind-blowing thing found within the studies.
The resilience of athletes, we do classify concussions as traumatic brain injuries, mild traumatic brain injuries. For individuals to kind of bounce back from that, when you actually kind of take a step back and you're like, well, that was a brain injury, and you were able to kind of regroup and get back out there, I think that's amazing to see.
For Furman and the Letterman of the USA, the hope of a better post-service experience for veterans and former athletes has been driven by faith. Now the organization is partnering with science to try and help find a diagnosis that would be beneficial for all.
Coverage of the recruiting industry exploded in the last 25 years. I can't even keep up with all the sites that are out there. But it wasn't always that way. In tonight's Recruiting Tales, Tider Insider's Rodney Orr explains how this multi-million-dollar industry got started close to about 50 years ago, yeah.
You know, I first started kind of hearing about recruiting in the 70s, in the mid-70s, when Tony Nathan from Birmingham Woodlawn, of course, and Jeff Rutledge from Banks High School up there, when they signed with Alabama, I'd heard about that. You know, eventually started hearing more and more about recruiting. Then all of a sudden, you start finding recruiting magazines back in the day. A guy named Joe Terranova published a handbook from Dearborn, Michigan, where he rated all the players around the country, and he rated all the recruiting classes. And this is in 1978. I ordered the handbook that he produced, and I knew right then, I said, hey, I'm obsessed with this stuff. I want to keep up with this in a closer fashion. So I start calling him at home. I'd call him and pick his brain. And I was 17, 18 years old at the time. I decided, you know, one day I want to have a service. I want to have something like this that provides information on recruiting. And eventually I came up with the idea. I said, look, you know, there's people that cover national recruiting, there's people that cover SEC recruiting, but really there's no one that specializes in covering the University of Alabama recruiting, just specifically Alabama. That was the niche. That was the niche. That's why I could start a business in Corpus Christi, Texas, 850 miles away from Tuscaloosa, because no one else was doing it. And I could reach out to these people on the internet, and we were the first ones. Tighter Insider was the first internet site that provided that kind of information and became a premium website. Of course, now look, shortly thereafter, you had all these networks start emerging. If I would have been a year later, probably wouldn't have made it. Probably wouldn't have been here 27 years later. But timing is everything, and you know, that's really how we were able to survive.
Interesting. LSU has 3 losses and recently fired head coach Brian Kelly, but Alabama can't sleep on the Bayou Bengals. Football Friday's Garrett Atkins takes us behind enemy lines.
Alabama gets the honor of being the first game LSU will play without Brian Kelly at the helm since 2022. LSU fired Kelly and offensive coordinator Joe Sloan 2 weeks ago following a 49-25 beatdown in Death Valley against Texas A&M. That means Alabama will have to deal with the classic interim bump. Running backs coach Frank Wilson will step into the interim role. Wilson has been with the program in 2 different stints for a total of 10 years. Jacques Doucette, the sports director of WFAB in Baton Rouge, believes the Tigers will play with more conviction under their new head coach.
When you start throwing the Q word around, quit, that's when you have problems, and it just looked like this thing was beyond the point of return for Brian Kelly, the way they played against Texas A&M. I think they'll play hard for Frank Wilson. I think that they will do some things offensively that will be different than what they've done in the past.
Contrary to the standard in college football, and even with one of the best home environments in the sport, the Tigers tend to fare better against the Tide in Tuscaloosa than it does in Baton Rouge. The Tigers are the last SEC team to beat Alabama at home, winning at Bryant-Denny Stadium in 2019.
I think, you know, LSU beat them in Tuscaloosa in 2007, 2011, 2019. I mean, even in 2021, when Ed Ogeron was on his way out the door, I didn't want to go to that game. LSU was a 28-point underdog. They were supposed to be slaughtered, and it went down to the final play.
In his last 9 games at Bryant-Denny Stadium, LSU has been able to keep the score within a touchdown on average, compared to almost double that amount at Tiger Stadium. One thing Alabama has to account for is the efficient ground game of LSU, an underutilized part of its game under Brian Kelly, where the Tigers threw the ball 68% of the time, all while having 2 running backs who average almost 5 yards per carry in Harlem Berry and Caden Durham. With running backs coach Frank Wilson taking the interim spot, it begs the question, will the Tigers lean on its run game more? Doucette thinks they need to.
Well, I think Harlem Berry has been a bright spot lately running the ball for LSU. I think a negative during the Texas A&M game is that he had some nice runs and then he didn't touch the ball again. He went to the sideline, or they called pass plays or whatever. I think sometimes you can outthink yourself. You can script things. You can try to come up with the perfect play. And sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, this guy's hot. Just keep giving him the ball and see what happens.
While a disappointing year so far for LSU, this game still means a whole lot for both programs. It's the one many college football fans circled on their calendar for the month of November during the 2010s, and has a ton of history behind the matchup. For Behind the Enemy Lines, I'm Garrett Atkins.
Several teams are on bye, but it's always a big weekend of football in the Southeastern Conference. Landon Wallace takes us around the SEC.
is the first week of SEC football after the release of the college football playoff rankings. We start down in Nashville as the Vanderbilt Commodores take on the Auburn Tigers.
Vanderbilt is looking to bounce back this week after a tough loss against the Texas Longhorns. Commodores quarterback Diego Pavia had another strong performance last week, going 27 for 38 for 365 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the other hand, the Commodores defense struggled, allowing Texas quarterback Arch Manning to throw for 328 yards on 25 for 33 passing. For the other side, Auburn is playing its first game without former head coach Hugh Freeze. Defensive coordinator DJ Durkin becomes the interim head coach. The Tigers are looking to get back on track after only putting 3 points up against Kentucky. Durkin talks about how he is going to fix their offensive struggles.
My communication with the offense has been more schematically from a defensive viewpoint of, that's my background, what I know. I'm certainly not going to try and step in to be doing things that aren't in my wheelhouse.
Now we head up to Missouri, where the Tigers are taking on the number 3 team in the country, the Texas A&M Aggies. Missouri, coming off the bye, are looking for their first top 5 win of the season. The Tigers' run game, led by Ahmad Hardy, is crucial to support their freshman quarterback. With Hardy being top 5 in the country in rushing, his success could dictate the Tigers' offense. Now for the Aggies, quarterback Marcel Reed is looking to continue his dominant play on the season in the air and on the ground. Last week, they had a big win in Death Valley against the LSU Tigers, 49-25, with Reed throwing for over 200 yards in the air and having over 100 on the ground. Their defense is also looking to continue being one of the best in the country after having 7 sacks last week on LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. Now, last but not least, it's the battle of the Bulldogs as Georgia heads down to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. Mississippi State is looking to get their second consecutive SEC win in a row after last week's 14-point comeback win to take down the Arkansas Razorbacks. Bulldogs wide receivers Anthony Evans and Brennan Thompson have been the strong suit of their offense and look to continue making an impact. Now with Georgia, they are looking to continue their momentum after an emotional win at Florida last week, 24-20. With the Bulldogs having a strong rushing attack, they are looking to exploit Mississippi State's rushing defense, with them allowing 162 rushing yards per game. Along with that, they are looking to deal with one of the loudest atmospheres in college football.
They've got a really vertical stadium. I think the noise gets trapped in their stadium. It's one of the loudest places that I've coached, and I've coached there a lot. And they got a lot of pride in how they play and how their team plays and the support of their team.
Georgia is 2-0 on the road this season and are looking to extend that record. That will do it for Around the SEC. For Football Friday, I'm Landon Wallace.
Those high school football games are wrapping up tonight, the playoff games. We've got some great weather happening out there. Now let's talk about college football. Alabama taking on LSU at Bryant-Denny, 6:30 kickoff, 69. There could be a shower or storm in the area. The odds of rain for the game time at around 30%. So most likely it's going to be dry during the game. Fourth quarter, 63, still pretty mild out there. Mississippi State taking on Georgia over in Starkville, 11 o'clock kickoff, that early game. 73 at kickoff. Rain is unlikely. Skies partly to mostly cloudy. And again, by the fourth quarter, look at the temperatures in the mid-70s. And for the Auburn game, Auburn taking on Vandy at this game over in Nashville. Now 3 o'clock kickoff, temperatures will be in the lower 70s, so not bad at all. I'll look for temperatures in the low 60s, wrapping up things just before that Arctic cold front arrives. That'll be there Saturday night. Locally, it turns much colder on Sunday and especially on Monday. So be sure to tune into our social media platforms. Richard Scott, WVUA 23, for the latest on the cold weather coming up for Monday across West Alabama. That's your forecast update. Have a great weekend.
I'm back on. Am I back on? You think I wouldn't make that mistake on the final Football Friday? We got to test that mic for me. I turn it off a lot. All right, that is going to wrap it up for Football Friday for this year. We'll continue to cover the high school football playoffs for you, but this is our final Football Friday. We thank everybody that's been a part of it this year. We certainly appreciate all our great sponsors, and it's been fun. And we've still got playoff action to go, but that'll wrap it up for Football Friday. Take a look at these names on your screen. We couldn't have done it without them. Appreciate all our viewers as well. A reminder to be on board with us this weekend. I'm going to be live tomorrow night following the Alabama-LSU game on the news at 10. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's been a terrific year for Football Friday.